Hey guys, my name's Justin and welcome to Hellsboro, where we care about the design behind designer luxury. And if you do too, make sure to subscribe.
That was not the correct location. Again.
So for today's video, I wanted to talk about something a little different. So if you're familiar with me, you know I love a good bag that has like a really interesting structure. Oftentimes I really praise those bags that kind of confuse me because like I feel like that's just like my natural state of being. Just being a little confused all the time, right? That's beautiful. Love it. So I'm gonna call these bags like illusion bags. They're bags where either they have a typical or maybe not even like not so typical bag shape, but then something about the structures changed to make them kind of otherworldly, surreal. Like think like that one painting of Salvador Dali with the clocks that are melting. Whoa. Okay, maybe not that crazy, but like in that realm, in that world. But let's just get started. So this first bag, I've actually talked about, I think probably a few times because I find it so interesting. So Coperni makes a bag called the Swipe bag, and it's the idea of like, oh, the little like swipe button on iPhones, but they turned it a little bit more ovoid and turned it to the side, so it's vertical. And then they made the Melted Swipe bag, which is the same bag shape, but then they added this like really like flowy kind of shape to it to make it look like it's melting. And I think it's such a funny take on something. Like they're taking this like electronic thing that's not even a real thing, but then they turned it into a physical object, and then now they're turning it back into this like surreal object, and I think that's fantastic. So for me, that's kind of like what sparked the whole idea for this video, because I mean, I love that shape. I think I want to add it to my collection, maybe. So the next bag is a little, I would say it's kind of related to that. So this one is by MM6, which is a diffusion line of Mix and Margiela. It's MM6, but it's also a collab with Eastpak. And for me, Eastpak has really been like killing it with the collabs recently. Like they collabed with Telfar, which I did order a bag, but I had to ship it to somewhere in the US, so I'm gonna pick it up later. So you'll see that eventually, even though it's been out for, at this point, like months, but whatever. But then they did a collab with MM6, so I love that they took like the Eastpak backpack shape, and then MM6 was like, what if we just like, oh, I don't know what that was, but I think if you look at the bag, it's kind of like, it looks like it's like kind of melting, kind of like the Melted Swipe. But I love what they did to the structure so that when you even just like place it on a flat surface, the bag is just tilted, and I think it's hilarious. I guess this one is like not like so direct luxury because they're collaborating with Eastpak, which is like a pretty normal brand, but I still think it's so fun to get like a surreal take on like this like normal looking product. Okay, so the next two bags I would say are like similar, but I wouldn't want to talk about one without the other. So the first one is a Staud Acute bag. So it's a shoulder bag, but then the idea is the proportions have been like stilted or like skilter. What's that word? Stunted? No. Kiltered. There we go. The proportions have been like a little bit, can you even use the word like that? I'm having trouble today. It's a normal bag when you look at it when it's touching the surface, but then they like hiked up one side, so it's kind of like crooked and angular, but it still has softness to it with some of these rounded edges, which I think makes it a little bit more wearable and maybe less edgy for people who aren't super into something that's like almost like off-putting or a little bit aggressive looking. So I do like this bag. And then on the other side, we have something from Palm Angels, which is a brand that I like normally am never really into, but I am really a fan of this bag. So again, it's a bag that has these like off-kilter type of proportions where like from the base it looks normal and then they hike up one side. But this one they added a top handle to it. It's bamboo, which I'm a fan of Gucci, so I love when bamboo is used. And then the nice thing about this Palm Angels bag is that it does have a strap that you can turn into like a shoulder or crossbody strap, which I think is always welcome. I love a little bit of versatility, so. And then one fun thing about the Crash bag is there is one colorway that's like, it's this nice tan, but then the bamboo is like this like bright blue. It's like like a sky blue almost. I don't know, it's fun. It's it adds a bit to the like surrealism that the bag is, but it still is grounded enough that I think it's accessible for most people. I don't know. We're going crazy today. I'm talking about palm angels, so. Okay, so we talked about these two like really like off-kilter, interesting kind of proportions, but still accessible because of their rounded edges bags. But then one bag that I want to talk about, so this actually was on my wish list. It's the Distortion handbag from Acne. So Acne is a Swedish brand, but this bag is such an interesting shape. Like the last two bags I talked about, if you take this bag and like just pump it up to 11, you don't use any rounded edges, so it still stays aggressive, and then it's not just like twisted on top, but it's also like shifted to the side, so it's like it's in motion when you look at it. Personally, it's not for me because the way that the strap gets attached, the strap just has a hole in it and you push it through one of those like push pin thingies. And that's not my thing. I like a bit more substantial hardware, but like if that works for you, it is a really nice bag. The leather is really nice and the bag shape is so interesting. I really just, if it had different hardware, absolutely this bag would be in my collection. I think it's so interesting. And then this last bag I wanted to talk about is just like a little fun and flirty. So this one's from Jacquemus. And this bag is called La Vague. I don't quite get the name. No, I don't get it. It's basically like if you took like a bag and then it has like a thick chain shoulder strap type thing, but then like it's like the idea of like you take Photoshop and you like take the end and you just like and you like make it a little longer, but then you like curve it a little bit, and that's what the structure of this bag is. It's a little confusing. Oh, is that why it's called La Vague? Because it's just like a little like I'm having trouble today. Yeah, it's just this shoulder pouch, like the shoulder bag, has a zip top with this really interesting structure. So I actually really love like the shoulder strap. It's made out of chain, and then it's they say it's like leather molded. So I guess they take leather and they like somehow make it so that you see the shape of the chain. There's something like almost like bondagey about it, which I find very interesting. I normally think of Jacquemus as like this very like flirty, romantic brand, but then for them to have this like chunky hardware and then apply leather in this interesting way is like, I don't know, it's kind of like, ooh. Like, oh, didn't expect that from you, but... Do not include that. But yeah, I don't know, it's such an interesting take on this kind of like weird structure kind of bag. Like that, I think like, if you look at any of these bags I'm calling like illusion bags, really like if you take away that like interesting structure from it, it's just whatever bag. You could find it at any brand, you could find it at any price point, honestly, because it is what it is. But then the fact that all of these bags have that little, and it's not always little, but that extra like you just turn the dial to like pump it up. You want to get pumped? And it gets strange, and like I feel like for some people it might be even off-putting, but then, you know, like if you're like me and you love weird structures and you love like a little bit of attention, a little bit of weirdness in your wardrobe, these bags are winners. I definitely am into quite a few of them. I don't know if I'll add them to my collection. I don't know why I said it like that. That's all I have for you today. So let me know, do you guys like these bags? Do you also see this trend of like these like interesting structure bags creating this kind of like illusion type like shape where it's like, it's not quite trompe l'oeil because it's not like applying some sort of look to something to change it. It's more just actually changing the structure of it. So I don't think it necessarily applies. If it does, let me know. I love to hear from you guys. But that's all I have for you today. If you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. It lets me know that you like this kind of content and that you too care about the design behind designer luxury. Until next time, please tell me you added an effect.